Hi there, Dr. Taylor. Thank you for joining me today and doing our interview.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here. Good to be able to talk with you and to share some information for those who are going on this gut reboot program.
Fantastic. So let me begin by doing a full introduction. Dr. John Taylor, PhD, is a prominent authority on ADHD and related conditions, and a very strong advocate of incorporating nutritional and toxin insulation factors into treatment plans for individuals with such conditions. Toxin insulation, is that a word that I used correctly?
Well, tox insulation, yes.
Perfect. Okay. And in addition to dozens of journal articles, he's the author of over 20 books, including the best-selling The Survival Guide for Kids with ADHD. His DVD productions include Nutrition and Neurochemistry, The ADD Link, and A Natural Approach to ADD and ADHD. His audio CD productions include Blue Green Algae and Dietary and Nutritional Treatment. And his website is www.parentology.guide. That is PARENTOLOGY.guide. And so thanks again for joining us. And we'll get right into the questions, Dr. Taylor. Could you tell us a little bit about your holistic practice and how gut health fits into this equation?
Okay. In my practice as a clinical family psychologist over the years, I've interviewed about 1,400 hyperactive children and teenagers and their bewildered parents and their jealous siblings. And so with all that emphasis on ADHD in my practice, I did many other things. I ran into the kind of difficulties that they have and found solutions for them. It turns out that people with ADHD have 5 organ systems at risk for malfunctioning, not just the brain. And one of those is the digestive tract. And the research on it in the journal shows about 75% of them have a major digestive anomaly of some sort going on. And that's probably an underestimation because those journal articles require a lot and a bad case of diarrhea before they count it as occurring. But a moderate case would slip under their radar and wouldn't be reported, but would still be abnormal. So if you X out the ones that are severe cases, which is the ones the journals reported, and document every instance of a person with ADHD having something abnormal in their gut, you come to 99% of them, not 75.
Okay.
So I ran into this all the time in my practice, having to start from the beginning and acquaint these parents with basic principles of nutrition and how important the gut is and what goes wrong with it and how to solve it as part of treating the ADHD. The kids actually have fewer symptoms if their gut is working right. And that's how I ran headlong into that.
Okay, good. It's a fascinating connection. That's one that we're doing interviews and trying to teach more people about, really. So, and getting to that, our viewers are actually going through what we're calling a 30-day gut reboot program or challenge, as it were. And so the focus is on caring for the gut by consuming a whole food diet, supplementing with wild microalgae, probiotics, and enzymes, moving more in their lives, meaning more activity in their lives, and so on. So, why is gut health so important when it comes to mental health and really health as a whole?
Okay, let's start with the very beginning. The brain, where your mental health is located, is the most nutrient demanding organ in the body. It requires more nutrient per minute than any other part of your body. Now, what if digestion is all screwed up? What's their chance in the brain of not getting enough of the nutrients? A
Okay.
great chance of it. And that's why in ADHD, 75 to 100% of them don't get enough nutrition in their brain. Their brains are starving because of the digestive problems. So talk about your mental health, starve your brain and you're not going to have good mental health. So we need a fully nourished brain that gets enough sleep. That's what you need for good mental health, just at the very beginning of mental health. And then, of course, you have other things going on. What if your mental health is such that you are addicted to nicotine, you drink huge amounts of alcoholic beverages? All that is screwing up your gut and your liver. And when it screws up your gut, your brain suffers with malnutrition problems.
Okay.
And so right away, mental health is correlated with, does your brain have what it needs, or is it not playing with a full deck here? I often will teach people a simple little way to teach what are the major nutrient components a brain needs. It's a little acronym sentence that goes like this: please visit my fun, clever website. Just please visit my fun, clever website. And if you look at the first letters of those words, those are P, V, M, F, C, W. That's just a way to remember those letters, is the sentence, please visit my fun, clever website. But the P stands for protein. I mean, the brain's making 34 neurotransmitters all the time. Those are proteins. The brain needs amino acids with which to build those proteins. Where does it get them? You eat them in food rich in protein. And your digestive tract tears those molecules apart, and the brain loves those amino acids. It restrings them in 34 different strings that we call neurotransmitters. Now that is major function of the brain. One of the key functions of the brain is to make all those neurotransmitters all the time. And that's what P stands for. Feed them some protein. How can a brain make proteins if you don't give it any amino acids to build them with? V is vitamins. And your brain needs every single vitamin. There's no vitamin your brain doesn't need every day. M, minerals. Your brain needs 40 minerals every day. And F, fatty acids. Now your brain is over 50% fat. It's actually a fatty organ. Billions of brain cells there. They need to be repaired constantly. Those myelin sheaths need to be repaired with what? The building blocks of fat. And also, those fatty acids moisturize the cell walls so your brain can get rid of toxins and absorb the nutrients. And so without enough fatty acids, you're a dead duck, so to speak, in terms of your brain function.
Okay.
Fortunately, every plant has fatty acids in it. And then C, chlorophyll. Your brain has 3 major ways to get rid of the toxins that automatically builds up every day because of all the chemical activity of those nerve cells. They're very busy, active nerves. They're using up more nutrition than any other nerves and any other cells in the whole body.
Okay.
And so, like a truck engine, they produce a lot of toxins. Sleep is one way your brain gets rid of those. Water, enough water, gets rid of them. And chlorophyll aids the whole thing because chlorophyll flushes things out. And then finally, the last word is W, water, the thing the brain needs. So I teach people those 6 nutrients. Make sure the child has enough of those 6 basic nutrients. Automatically just do that. Believe it or not, if all you do is give them those 6 nutrients, symptoms will go down rather dramatically in most people with autism and ADHD. Just give the brain sort of a baseline of nutrients. That proves how crucial nutrition is, especially to those conditions where the brain just doesn't have the nutrients it needs.
Okay, great. That's it's fascinating common sense to me. I mean, maybe to some, but that's why we're here to learn more and more as we can. And thanks again for your time. So let's talk about the mind and the gut, because there's a strong connection between the two, of course, as you've already described. And some of this is really just the assimilation of the things, the raw nutrients that the brain needs to thrive. But can you tell us a little bit about the gut-brain axis and how one's mind has an impact on gut health?
Yes,
And and how that might impact how that street can go both ways.
yeah, right. Well, your brain has all those neurotransmitters in it, and it has all those neurons, and it talks to the other part of your body that has a whole bunch of neurons and neurotransmitters. That would be your digestive tract. So if you witness a terrible traffic accident, you vomit. If you're very, very anxious, you don't feel hungry. You may queasy in your stomach. I mean, your digestive tract responds to anxiety and other kind of emotional arousals, which are triggered in the brain. So your digestive tract is very sensitive to that. That's why you don't feel hungry if you're grieving and so forth, and you get all upset. Your digestive tract gets all upset if you witness something that's terrifying. Or how about getting dizzy? and then your digestive tract has you vomiting and so forth. So anxiety symptoms easily spread to digestive issues. So you got a lot of connection there.
Well, yeah, well, I hadn't. It seems intuitive enough, but you've laid it out pretty black and white. Like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Kind of terms to say when you see an awful traffic accident. I hate to use that meta. It's not even a metaphor. It's just it's a real it's real evidence of that connection from brain to the gut rather than the other way around. Because the gut to the brain seems intuitive enough, but you just laid that out in a way that I will never forget. That's for sure. Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
um, so I understand that you regularly recommend a couple of products, acidophilus and microalgae. And why are these two so important when it comes to mental function to you?
Okay. Your gut has about 400 species of good guy bacteria in it. They basically kill off the bad guys. And the bad guys are 5. You got 5 categories of bad guys who have a small branch office in your gut. Those would be yeast, mold, fungi, parasites, and body unfriendly bacteria. Now, this mob of those 5 bad guys is commonly misnamed as a yeast infection, but they all are there. There's no such thing as a human digestive tract that doesn't have yeast, mold, fungi, parasites, and body unfriendly bacteria in it. The reason for that, if you're ready for another gory reference, is that when you die, they stay alive and they start digesting your whole body, and your body's decomposed then. So you're carrying around your own undertaker with you in your digestive tract. And your digestive tract, believe it or not, is supposed to have that little branch office.
Let's keep it as a branch office, though, for now.
Okay. Okay. But you're actually supposed to have it there. And now, we don't want it getting too big for its britches. We don't want this branch office of those 5 bad guys becoming an invading army to coat all the villi in your intestines. That would be that famous yeast infection.
Okay.
So to keep them in check, we have the good guys. Now, acidophilus is the most powerful of the good guys. It is a monster killer of yeast and mold and fungi. And the other 399 are not quite as good at that. And you have more acidophilus in your gut than any of those other good guys. So why are the good guys there? To keep the bad guys in check, so you don't get yeast infections and so forth. But everybody has that little branch office in there, and that's for when they die. So is acidophilus important? Yes. That's why you have more of it than anything else. It's the best monster killer you have. It's the best keeper of the bad guys in check that you have. So they only have a small branch office representation.
Okay.
There you go. That's why acidophilus.
Okay, and then the addition of microalgae then. So the 2 of those working together, how are those?
Yes. When the scientist who discovered that, he shared it with me, he was so excited that when he actually added the microalgae from New Earth, that the acidophilus he was measuring reproduced faster. So the whole business of having your good guys there is goosed by the presence of the edible microalgae from New Earth. And he was so excited about it. He was telling me about it. I already knew it, so I accepted it from him. But he was just like a kid found his favorite toy in a candy store when he was sharing with me this thing he had discovered, that indeed the microalgae from New Earth gooses the reproduction rate of those good guys. It allows you to have a strong army to defend yourself stronger.
Yeah, and
it's good news.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's good news. If someone asks you, how do you get a strong counter army to defend against the yeast infection? You make sure the acidophilus reproduces fast and so forth. What better way to do that? Hey, pills, capsules that allow acidophilus to actually grow and reproduce faster than it otherwise would. great.
Yeah, which has its protective and digestive benefits, plus the microalgae that also helps in the human body, as well as helping reinforce the development and proliferation of the acidophilus in the gut too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, good. And I know that you're busy and you're always, moving around to different places to teach and to speak. But how can your viewers get a hold of you? Where can they find you next? How can they
Okay,
get in front
well,
of you?
I'm all over the country. I'm doing live seminars all over the country. I'm also, my website is the most convenient place to reach me, and you can reach me 24 hours a day by fax, which is 503-838-1608. And my website, as you said, is parentology.guide, Guide. You
Okay.
can email me at parentology64@gmail.com.
Okay. Well, awesome. You shared a whole bunch of stuff and your contact information. And again, I appreciate you taking the time. And we go back several years. And again, thanks again for getting on the phone. Well, getting on the phone of the 21st century with us and doing the interview. So
Well, I hope this information is helpful to the people watching the reboot to
yeah,
understand that it is scientifically based. It's not just promotional nonsense. It is really scientifically based. And what you've referred to as common sense, sometimes if it's common sense, it sounds unscientific because it's only common sense.
sure.
The reason it's common sense is that it is so true
Yeah.
and scientific.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks again. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. My delight and pleasure.